Alright, welcome back. This is part 2 of What If Female Deku Was King Ghidorah. Now, I'm just going to give a quick summary of the last part in case some of you are just joining us in this part and haven't seen part 1. Basically, Deku was born to Ryoko. Massive roar was heard from the sky. These two heads popped out of a wormhole, and now people are questioning what the hell is going on. Alright, hold on, give me a minute. Sorry about that. Anyway. So pick up from where we left off. Ryoko heads back to her house with the baby Izumi in her arms, as she's already got a room set out for Izumi. As Ryoko would lay Izumi down and then head back into the main room of her house, as she would just relax. As the two dragon heads from before would come out from the wormholes, this time they're smaller and they are currently inside of Izumi's room. As the two heads would come out, unleashing their roar, as they would move down towards Izumi and begin to inspect her. Like, they'll move around her, look at her, like, pick up her scent, because these two heads are technically still animalistic, but they're very smart. So they will usually, like, smell around to pick up her, to get a good grab on her scent. Excuse me. Sorry about the frequent pausing. There's just some stuff in my teeth I'm trying to get out. Anyway, once they've gone like a good look at her and have gone her scent, they then retreat back into the wormholes. As we'll fast forward about 5 years, where Izumi is going to get a quirk diagnosed. As once Ryoko and Izumi reach the quirk doctor, Izumi gets her quirk diagnosed, as her quirk is called Titanus ghidorah. As Ryoko would ask, what can her quirk do? As the quirk doctor would respond with that basically gives her the ability to fly, basic manipulation of lightning, control over space and time. Hold on, give me a minute. They can make themselves intangible. They can drain energy from once they get a bite down on somebody, and the ability to summon two large dragon heads. And she can also regenerate as well. And the doctor would add another thing in, that her quirk, due to its large amount of power, technically puts her into a specialized category of her quirk. Because we had a boy in here a while ago who had the same quirk. Give me a minute. Sorry about that. As the doctor would explain, well, it's not the same quirk, but it's a similar one. And their quirk's name was Titanus Rodan. As due to her capabilities with her quirk and her sheer raw power, it puts her into a special genus of her quirk type called Alpha Titan. which basically means that she's twice as powerful as a normal one, and she can also command other people with similar quirks if they aren't already an alpha. As Ryoko would find this very interesting, as she would say, so it's basically like my quirk, but stronger. As the quirk doctor would respond with, yes, as she does have some dragon characteristics as well, due to the wings. As Ryoko would thank the doctor for their time, as Ryoko and Izumi would then head back to their house. Now, Izumi doesn't go to the same preschool as Bakugo, but Inko and Tazashi's child, his name is not Izuku. His name is actually I'm going to reuse a name from from a What If I made a while ago. His name will be Zuko Midoriya. As Bakugo is would be basically picking on him due to his pyrokinesis quirk being relatively weak. Actually, no, he'll be Bakugo's friend because pyrokinesis quirk is very strong and he bullies other kids who have weaker quirks. As one day, I'll say Izumi's about 10 years old right now. As one day, she's out and about just to hang around, as she does see Zuko and Bakugo picking on a boy who has wings for arms, and whose edges of the wings are on fire. And I think you all know who I'm talking about. As Izumi would walk up to them, as she would say, it's kind of if you two are wanting to be heroes, you're clearly wasting your potential on picking somebody. Seems like something that a villain would do. As Bakugo and Zuko would both say, and what do you know about being a hero? You only weakling. As Izumi would say, if I'm a weakling, then you two must be weaker than me. Then Bakugo and Zuko, due to them both having very short tempers, would yell, "What did you say?" as they'd both charge at her. Bakugo and Zuko both using their quirks. As the two wormholes would open up, as the two dragon heads would lunge from them, biting down on Zuko and Bakugo. Now, this doesn't kill them, but does pin them down, as they are sort of sapping their energy. As Izumi would walk over to this boy, as she would ask him, "Are you all right?" With the boy responding with, "Yeah, he's fine." As she would then ask, "What is his name?" As he would say that his name is Rodan. And what's her name? As she would say that her name was Izumi, and it's a pleasure to meet you. As she would shake his hand, grab his hand, and then help him up. As Bakugo and Zuko would look at her, as they would say, "What the hell are you doing, you damn villain?" With Izumi looking back at them and saying, "Really? The bullies who are picking on somebody whose quirk to them seems weaker is calling somebody who's protecting that person a villain. So, if I'm a villain, then that technically makes All Might a villain. Am I wrong? Am I correct?" with Bakugo and Zuko immediately seeing the loophole that they had just produced, as they'd just immediately stay quiet. As Izumi would say, "That's what I thought." As she would then snap her fingers as the dragon heads would let go of Zuko and Bakugo, as they would both fall to the ground. As Izumi and Rodan would then walk off, as Bakugo and Zuko had basically been sapped of all their energy, with Izumi having the energy inside of her body now. With Bakugo standing up because he had a little bit of energy left, as he had run over to Izumi and try and blow her up, with Izumi immediately seeing this coming, as she'd immediately turn around and open her mouth, as the, I forgot what their name, but I think they're called gravity beams. Yeah, they're called gravity beams, which kind of looks like lightning, would come out of her mouth and hit Bakugo right square in the torso, as he would go flying back towards Zuko, with Izumi and Rodan immediately walking off. With Izumi basically helping Rodan back to where his parents are, as they would thank Izumi for helping their kid. As she would say that was no problem, with Izumi immediately walking back to her place, as Ryoko is right at the door. And Izumi knows that when Ryoko is at the door, she's messed up. As Ryoko would say, "I know what you did, Izumi," and Izumi would say that she knows and that she's very sorry for using her quirk. That it was just a split set, that she didn't really have time to think about anything else, so she just used her quirk in like a panic state. As Ryoko would kneel down to Izumi, as she would say to her, "Look, Izumi, I know you're just trying to do your best, but you know that your quirk is very powerful. If you had made one wrong move, you could have killed those two kids." Izumi would say, "I know." With Ryoko saying, "Now come on, you need to come back inside." And they'd both then head back into the house. as Izumi, actually Ryoko actually helps Izumi train her quirk, which is why it is so powerful currently. Now, I did see in like the last part, like somebody said that the quirk marriage thing was a great idea. Yeah, Endeavor doesn't really care if Shoto loves them or not. He will just put them forcibly in the marriage, whether Shoto likes it or not. As Endeavor is currently training Shoto, with Shoto's body being, with Endeavor just basically doing the abuse that he calls training, as Shoto would have passed out afterwards. Now we'll get back to Izumi with her doing her training. I'm not sure if Ryoko can do this, but I'm going to say that in her dragon form, she can shoot out fire. As Izumi would be training with her, as she'd use use her zero gravity beams, as she would basically counter her flames, as she would then bring out the other two heads, which would also fire the zero gravity beams, which would immediately send it right back to Ryoko, as Ryoko would be pushed back into a wall, and Izumi would land back onto the ground, with Ryoko saying, "Alright, I think that's enough training for today." As Izumi would say, "Really? I'll get just getting into it." With Ryoko saying, I know you are just getting into the training, Izumi, but I am very tired right now. Hero work is not that fun to do, but I have to do it because who else is going to do it? With Izumi thinking about it and saying that then I'll become a hero to help you. As Ryoko would basically be touched by this. Gonna mean like, if you have a kid and then they say they're going to want to do the same job as you so they can help you during it, your heart would immediately melt for that. Unless you hate kids. Then I'm not sure if I can help you there. As Ryoko would thank Izumi and say, but I really want you to become your own type of hero. I don't want you to be copying me or copying any other heroes. Be your own hero. And just do the best that you... sorry for the voice crack. And do the best that you can. With Izumi saying that she'll keep that in mind, as Izumi would then hug Ryoko, as they'd both end up relaxing. And that is where I'm going to end this part off. I do hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time.